est pris, vous allez en prendre.
C'est vrai?
Donc je n'ai pas de pressureur, il n'y a plus de patron.
Merde.
Il n'y a plus de coupeurs, il y a la moitié des coupeurs qui sont en train de faire n'importe quoi. Bienvenue en Champagne.
You know, I spend a lot of time talking about different champagnes and different regions and different flavors and different characteristics. But one thing I really wanted to do was talk about champagnes that all come from a different region of Champagne. And as some of you have noticed, that I haven't posted a video in quite a long time. And the reason for that is, as you all know, I got the opportunity to go to Champagne and take part in the harvest this year. And I gotta be honest with you, it was one of the most impactful experiences of my life. Not just because it was a big trip. I mean, I've taken big trips before, I've lived overseas, I've been all over this world. And I've been to France, but I had never been to Champagne. And when I got to France, you know, I landed in Charles de Gaulle and got my car, and I endeavored to do some sightseeing. Yeah, I'd been to Paris before, but only on business. I really didn't see anything. You know, I saw the Eiffel Tower off in the distance, and I'm also a big cycling fan, and I always wanted to see the Champs-Élysées where the Tour de France ends, and I wanted to see the Arc de Triomphe and all that. And I got to Paris, and I'm driving around and really kind of enjoying the beauty of Paris on a Sunday afternoon. And with every kilometer I drove around the city, more and more I felt an itch to just get out of Paris and get to Beaunay, where I was staying. And I just said, you know, I'm out. And I just headed to Beaunay. And a funny thing happened while I was driving there. Every kilometer I got closer and closer to Beaunay, I felt more and more at home. It stopped feeling like I was in a foreign country and started feeling more like I was home. And I'm going to talk more about that over the course of this journey that we're going to go on with all these fantastic champagnes you see before you. And what sets all of these apart is that these are a sampling of champagnes from Beaunay. Some of these champagnes you've seen before. We did a review on the Beaunay Series Césarine before, and as you all know, this is one of my absolute favorite champagnes. I love this one. It is a champagne that is in a category that I call the connoisseurs champagne. I think they're fantastic. But two of these you've never seen before. You've never seen the Blanc de Noir, and you've never seen the Rosé. These two are the only bottles in the United States. Literally, these are the only two bottles in the US, and these are part of the portfolio of champagnes that we stock and carry. Some of the other champagnes you see before you, you also have never seen before. The Beaunay Fils Brut and the Beaunay Fils Blanc de Blanc. And these are some of my favorites. These are champagnes that are really the epitome of everyday champagne. These are champagnes you can really drink every single day of your life and be happy. And I'll tell you something, for a week, that's all I did. I drank these two champagnes multiple times, all day, every day, all night, every night. I probably drank, I'm not gonna lie, I probably drank a good 20 bottles of champagne while I was there. I'm not saying shared, I'm saying I probably consumed a good 20 bottles of champagne while I was there. Now, these champagnes over here, these are not foreign to the US, but they are very little known champagnes. They're also from Beaunay. These champagnes over here are special because these aren't unavailable here in the US, but these are also champagnes that are rooted in Beaunay. And the Ouduette Fils and the Ouduette Champagne are absolutely magnificent examples of traditional, real traditional styles of making champagne. Now, there's some interesting stories about these two, which we'll talk about in a different video along the lines of this series. But the Ouduette is just these. I was introduced to the Ouduette when I was in Beaunay. And a really interesting story is that the owner of Toulier Fils, Claudette Toulier, her vineyard and the Ouduet vineyard are in the same town. They're both in Beaunay. They're around the corner from each other. And I met Max Ouduet, and he's a fantastic guy, young guy who makes a very, very traditional, and I mean, when I say traditional, I mean it goes from press to vat right into a barrel, and that's how it's made. He's sticking to that old school, old tradition, old way of making champagne. I mean, he's rocking it old school style, and I think it's just absolutely magnificent. And I'm looking forward to doing a proper review of his champagne in this series. So when it comes to the Toulier Fils, there's 6 different champagnes in their repertoire. And when it comes to the Cécilines, there's 3. And the story behind the Touliers and Claudette is absolutely amazing. And having spent a week with that family and watching their business and watching the harvest and taking part in it, I mean, this trip I wasn't an observer. I mean, I really worked. I mean, I never worked harder in my life than I did on that trip. And getting a chance to not only see how it's all made, from grape picking to making the wine, and the wine settling and getting ready for, fermentation, and, later on being made into actual champagne and being put in bottles, blah, blah. And to see that first set of steps was really important, not only for me as a lover of champagne and as a growing expert in champagne, but to have a connection with this product and these people, and to know that in 2005, when the champagnes that I helped pick come to fruition, that's a really special year for me. And I guarantee you, every type of champagne from Toulier Fils from 2005 is going to be highlighted in our portfolio, because those are going to be champagnes that I personally had a hand in. But that's all for a different set of stories. But I wanted to kind of touch base with you guys and let you know that we're still making videos, but it took me a really long time to really process everything I learned while I was there. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about each and every one of these and do a review on every single one of them and let you know what you think. And I think tonight, we're going to start off with the Toulier Fils Brut. Let's get started.